Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Another edition of the show here. I have Gabe from the awesome New Jersey band Sonoa. Gabe, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Shane.
It's a pleasure. And also, big thank you will go out to Gabe and his entire band for saving one of our shows that we had at Hidden Tracks back in April. We had a band drop out at the last minute. And Gabe and his bandmates were gracious enough to hop on that spot and honestly made the show better than I ever thought it could be. So a huge thank you for that, man. Thank you so much.
Well, I got to thank you as well, because we had a great time and had to run it again. That's why we're coming back.
Yeah, I'm very excited. We got a 4 band bill coming up August 15th, and you saved my life. So as soon as you asked to play, I absolutely there was no doubt about it. So it's kind of that musical thing. Like we can all get along through music. You saved me, so as soon as you asked me a question, the answer was a yes, right? So
Awesome.
I mean, there was no way I would ever say no to somebody who saved the show for me. So.
Appreciate it.
Now, are you going on? I mean, you're not just playing at Hidden Tracks on August 15th, but you got a bunch of other dates lined up. What are you planning on doing? Are you running the whole gambit with the entire uh, the other 3 bands as well, or how's it working?
No, so we're doing like a 10-day run about. That we've done it a couple years in the past. Just kind of East Coast shows. Um, we're kind of trying to do like tour on a budget this year, so we're trying to stay close to home, and family and friends, so that we have places to crash.
It's an oxymoron, touring on a budget.
I know. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, some repeat places, some new places. We're gonna go south down to North Carolina, hitting Virginia and DC on the way, and then up. Gonna hit Pittsburgh, Lancaster, Philly, and got a got this New Jersey date with you, and then up north to Boston for the last day. So should be a good time.
Nice. All right, what? So besides touring on a budget, what when you go on tour, there's always like this apprehension of are things going to go well, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your biggest apprehension when going, putting together a tour, booking dates, and getting ready to go?
Well, super relevant question right now because I'm still kind of stressing about finalizing some of the dates. Um, I mean, so you kind of have a rough idea of what you want the tour to look like, because we have to plan out like a week off for people to take off of work, and then we try to book every single night of that stretch. So the way we like to do it is we will start Thursday of the work week, and we'll try to do some shows that we can hit while still being at work on Thursday. And then we'll take off the Friday and then the entire following week. So then it's the Thursday through the following Sunday, for about 10 or 11 dates. And what that means is like we have our goals, we have the cities that we want to hit, but sometimes it's really hard to book a Monday show or a Tuesday show or even a Friday show in some of the cities are like they get booked super far out in advance. And so it's like Tetris pretty much getting the tour dates locked in the places that you want them. So we're almost there. We're like 95% there, but until it's 100% done, it just feels like, is this all going to fail? Like there's that underlying anxiety for sure.
Yeah, and I know exactly how all that goes, and that's especially when I have people looking to play our venue. It's I try to make it as simple as possible. It's 90% of the time it's just yeah, sure, you can have that date, and
Yeah.
unless it's already booked, it's and that's why I try not to do like some of these places really they really fucking book out and they just constantly book, and at the same time it's like you've seen the place and it's just me. So I get very tired. It's hard for me to do shows every day that we're open. So I don't do that. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of places that do that have this, a huge team behind them. And I do understand the booking out on Fridays because I'm like booked out on Fridays until like from September to November. So
Yeah, exactly.
so I get it. That's why it's been great. Like a couple of people reached out and like, hey, is this date available? I'm like, it just so happens, yes, that Thursday is available. And yes, that Wednesday is available. So, but it is tough. And I feel for bands like you guys, on the smaller side that are extremely talented that I want more eyes to get to see because you guys are fantastic. So, I hope I said it enough when you guys were done, but what you guys do is great. It is, to coin the phrase, music to my ears. It really is, and it's very simply put. It's beautiful songs in a complex manner that you make palatable for anyone to listen to.
That's high praise. Thank you so much.
Now, I want to touch on like a little bit of your personal life when it comes to music. And, this show kind of started from a simple question that I had asked some friends because it was so prevalent in my mind. And, when you're a kid, sometimes there's music on in the background. Sometimes you grow up in a musical household and you're forced to piano lessons like some people like myself and 95 billion other people have been forced to do. But there's usually this moment as a child when you hear something for the first time that kind of really piques your interest and makes your ears stand up. Like mine, people are tired of hearing me say it, but I like the guests to understand. Like I remember hearing the Beach Boys at 6 years old, and it changed my life forever to the point where now I'm almost 50. I own a record store and a music venue, a podcast. That's how important it was to me. And I always wanted to see what other people's lives were like if they had a moment like that for them, that they remember hearing that song or that sound or that band that was just like, now I need to. My rest of my life is probably going to revolve around music.
Well, that's a really cool question. I don't think I've actually heard that one before. Well, okay, let me think about that. Well, I guess there's a couple approaches I could take to that question, but for me, when I think about the beginning of music for me, my parents were very they were very open-minded about what I was going to do with my life. And, but they would try to introduce me to lots of different things when I was younger. So when I was 5, I took violin lessons. And as soon as I was old enough to recognize what I was doing, I was like, I don't really like this so much. So I quit. And then they were like, oh, why don't you try guitar? And so I tried guitar, and again, I did it for a couple months and then I quit. And eventually they bought me this starter Yamaha keyboard. And I just instantly had this pull toward it, and I experimented with it a lot and eventually started composing my own piano songs. And that just became my obsession until I got to college. And now that I'm recalling this, I wonder why they kept pushing me towards music. I wonder if I had shown some kind of interest, like an early interest in that or something. I'm not sure. I should ask them. But yeah, the piano. So that was at 7. It instantly had my interest, and when I got to college, that's when the world really kind of opened up for me musically, because in elementary up until high school, I didn't really I didn't have a community of musicians around me. It was mostly at my school, like people who were learning music to play it professionally, in an orchestral or band setting. And I was doing songwriting and original music, and there wasn't really a place for that in the school clubs. And so when I got to college, I just completely changed the way I saw music, because I had just been this soul person who I thought I was hot shit in high school. I was like, no one else is writing songs like I do. I must be like, something special. And then I got to college and I realized, especially at Rutgers, where it's this huge school and there's the Mason Gross School of Arts, so it's just saturated with musicians. And I got there and I was like, oh my God, I have no skills. And I just really dove into music at that point. And I switched to guitar because it was more portable. It's hard to just play piano in a dorm and jam with friends on piano because you have to just find a place where there's a piano. So that's when I switched to guitar.
So when you got to the piano at 7 years old, what was the kind of stuff that you were playing?
Yeah, so I guess that's the other part of your question is like, what about music caught my attention? Um, I don't know. I just really loved the sound of the instrument, and I would just do these kind of improvisational pieces and just kind of, it was like a meditation, you know, like when you, do you play drums at all or any
Yes,
instrument?
I did. That was my main function.
So you know how like when you get into the groove, it's like it's a meditation. You
Yeah.
kind of lose yourself in it. And so that's kind of what it was like. Like I had never had any interest in music theory. Um, I never had interest in learning other people's music. I just wanted to get lost in the instrument and just kind of find, just by chance, whatever sounds I could get out of it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, and you bring up that this is the combined words that come up so often here, and I've said it a million times, but like music theory is something that at young ages, when you have, especially when I was younger, playing piano, like that was the first instrument that you had and we didn't have the Yamahas that you could find all these different tones to it. It was just the stand up Kimball that everybody had in their fucking home in the 80s, so that's what you were learning on, so you couldn't like play with things. But the teachers, and I always go back to this, is I think a mistake that a lot of teachers make is like when you're teaching someone how to play an instrument, whether it was guitar or piano or bass or anything else, it was always they were trying to teach you music theory like at the beginning, instead of like, hey, here's a guitar, here's a power chord. After your first lesson, you can go home and create your own songs, instead of saying, hey, no, this is what we're going to do. And I think we probably may have lost a lot of great artists because of that forced beginning of an instrument to learn music theory, like from the
mhm.
beginning. And it always blew my mind. It's like, yeah, no 7 to 10 year old wants to fucking learn that. It's too complicated. It's too hard. They heard music on the radio and they want to kind of like, or streaming it or in the car, whatever it is, however they heard it, they kind of want to emulate that. And that's why they're interested. And then you go in and say, okay, here's all these notes. You got to learn all these, and then how they go
Mhm.
together and how they were put together and how the like, instead of just like, hey, here's a power chord, and then teaching them something new every time they come in. Hey, what was this song that you heard recently that you really liked? And teaching them that song, like, because most of them that you hear are pretty easy. That's why they're palatable. That's why they're pop, right? It means accessible to anyone. So like I think we probably lost so many great musicians because of the simple fact that it was straight in your face of, this is how you have to learn.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are definitely people who are genuinely passionate about the music theory side of things.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
But I'm saying that when you're 7 years old, I mean, it's really
yeah.
hard to find that them.
Well, for me, it was, um, I tried so many different piano instructors, and they all had that same approach of like you got to do this and you got to do that, and I would just resist all of that until I think freshman year of high school. Shout out to my um, piano teacher Ryan Breckmacher. Um, we found him, and he was the first teacher who saw theory as a means to improve my songwriting. Like all the other teachers were like, fuck your songwriting. Here's the book, learn this. And then Ryan, on the other hand, was like, okay, you're passionate about songwriting. Let's try to understand the music that you're writing at a theory level. And that really, that's the only way I was able to learn any basic theory was through him. So you're
So
totally right.
yeah, with the piano too, like did you kind of attach yourself to other artists that were piano oriented? I mean, you got the big ones, the Billy Joels and the Elton Johns, but like, Ben Folds or, Tori Amos, like, was there any like artists that you kind of pulled yourself to because of that?
No, and uh, yeah, I was. basically in my own world, until I started playing with other musicians. And I didn't collaborate with anyone really until college. And I started trying to form a band once I got to college.
What was the
Um,
name of that first band you ever formed?
oh God. We went on like random band name generator. I think it was called Guiltless Papaya was the first ensemble. It was me on keys, um, Will Lamp on vocals, um, who he's a cool guy, but we've lost touch since like freshman year of college. Harry Busher on guitar, and Anthony, our current drummer, was on drums. So Anthony and I have been together playing music for that makes like 10 years now.
Wow. It's almost like you
But
found your soulmate in creation.
I know. um, but your question about like musical influences, like when I talk to other songwriters and just we like think back on our musical histories, I think that's something that is kind of strange about my development is I didn't have like influences. Um, I mean, I listened to a lot of Coldplay and U2. Like I'm one of those people who just like listens to bands obsessively,
Yeah.
like just like two or three bands. But I didn't ever like try to emulate musicians in my own work. Um, and you know, as I've been playing in a band, we have to like reference like, oh, I want this part to sound kind of like this, and so it helps to have other musicians to reference. Um, and so I've had to like expand my musical vocabulary and like listen to a lot of new artists so that I can like be articulate with what I want, other than just like, oh, that doesn't feel right to me, and they're like, well, what do you want it to sound like? And I'm like, I don't know. So it's kind of been forced on me, but there wasn't like a specific influence um, from the beginning like that.
Now, if you said you kind of like, you thought you were hot shit writing your own songs, doing your own thing. Do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
Yes, and I don't think there's a name for it, but I could probably play like a verse or a chorus on piano of that song. Um,
Is it good?
I mean, it's not bad for like 7 years old.
Might have to dust it off.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, go back to it.
My Definitely my interest in like chord shapes and voicings has stayed pretty much consistent. Like if I look back at early songs, I'm drawn to the same kind of chord progressions and chord structures that I've been drawn to since the very beginning. So I don't know what that is.
Now, you mentioned your parents with, possibly you're going to have a conversation with them after, we're
I
done
guess
here.
so.
But the fact that they kind of like saw probably something with music with you, did they take you around? Like, did they take you to shows? Did you go to like your first concert ever with your parents? Do you remember what that may have been, if it was, or?
Um, I mean, at an early age, um, no, I can't remember a specific concert. I do have a semi musical family though, because like my ancestors are fairly religious, and so we would go to church a lot, and there's the hymns there. So I was exposed to music in church. Um, my
Common theme.
grandfather on my
Yeah.
mom's side played guitar at our family gatherings, and my mom also uh, plays guitar on and off. So that was my exposure. Oh, and my dad is a huge music fan. Like he loves music. He's a consumer of music. Um, and so he introduced me to some of my early, I guess, influences like U2, Coldplay, and those were the two bands that I like uh, fixated on. And then Death Cab for Cutie later on is what I ended up resonating with the most in adulthood.
Now, do you remember the first show that you were excited that like you picked out that you got to go to?
Yeah. Okay, so just back to the concert thing. Like at an early age, I don't remember going to concerts because I was like a homebody and I didn't want to go to things. But in middle school and like later, I did go to some concerts with my dad. So we did see U2 and we saw Coldplay, and we actually got to see Prince a few years before he passed away. So my dad definitely has helped expose me to new stuff like that. But the first concert I chose, that's a good question. I'm pretty sure that was Death Cab at Starland. I went with my guitarist Lewis, and we had a great time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Starland, Hunkabunkas. For people who don't know, Hunkabunkas is now called Starland Ballroom, and Hunkabunkas was a dance club in the 80s that you would always hear on the radio.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a T-shirt that says Hunkabunkas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jersey. Yeah. Not proud of it, but I do. So
wear that loud and proud.
Yeah. I wore it to a show there once, and I was just like, I want to see who notices. And it was like the bartenders and the sound guys were like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, that's probably awesome for them, though, to see that history.
Now, when it comes to, current formation of Sonoa, this is one of my favorite questions I get to ask. So you're in this awesome band, and if someone met you, didn't know any of the music that you guys have made, and you have to play them one song of yours that would best describe what you guys are, what song of yours would you play for that stranger?
Oh, why do I feel like you're hitting me with these hard questions?
This is journalism, man. This is a hard-hitting question.
No, I love it. I'm just, wow. Because that's different from what's your favorite song.
Exactly. And that's usually the follow-up.
Damn.
So you got to play one of your songs for somebody that never heard your music to impress them. What are you playing?
Well, okay. I'm a teacher, a high school teacher at New Brunswick High School, and they do a talent show every year, and I signed up, and the song that I chose was Suitcase. I know I'm just a brick in your suitcase, occupying space that you could use for something far more beneficial, like an extra pair of shoes. Tell me this weight isn't heavy. You're more than happy to carry me. But we both know your strength will falter, and I'll be discarded on the street. And I can think of so many which is off of our most recent EP.
Yeah, Treadmill EP.
Yes, and I love that song because we've got some songs that are like, full force all the way through. We've got some songs that are pretty mellow all the way through. But then we have a couple of these gems that are like that kind of weave between the loud and soft really well and have this nice build to them. And those are the ones that as a songwriter, I'm the most proud of. And so it's probably Suitcase or Alone from our first album. Those are my two, those are really special to me.
All right. Are either one of those your favorite song you've released to date?
I like Air Freshener a lot. I think Air Freshener is the one I like playing live the most. There's this moment in the bridge where we slow down to this kind of basic chug that builds up to an explosive outro, and that's like probably my favorite part of the whole set.
Nice. See, that wasn't that hard.
But I mean, I still kind of dodged the question. Like, I don't know if Air Freshener is necessarily my favorite song. But Suitcase and Air Freshener definitely are close to my heart for that.
All right. Now, the other one is that gets to be pretty complicated, especially in today's world because of playlists and labels. If someone were to ask you what genre of music you play, and please, I'm removing indie and alternative from.
Oh.
I'm removing the two that everybody's just like, just indie or alternative. I'm removing those two. You got to kind of like push it to somewhere else. And it's only because of all these fucking 9 million different fucking playlists that are out there today. What genre would you kind of label yourself as?
Okay. After some brainstorming, we came up with introspective chillcore. That's on our Spotify bio.
Okay. That's
when
fine.
I'm sending all these tour emails, I call ourselves alternative emo.
Okay.
Or emo adjacent.
Emo adjacent, or indie alt rock with an emo-ish tinge. Or
we get piled into the emo label, and like if you go on our like Spotify radio, like recommended artists, it's always emo bands, but I don't feel like we really identify with that label. It's just there's not enough good words to describe music, so that's where we wind up.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, emo got, it became, a bad word for a very long time. And, I always go back to watching, emo had taken on so many different forms. I mean, people were calling Right to Spring emo, when they, so all it really is having this sound where what I say is a sound where it can kind of make you fall in love. And I think that's really what emo is. Some people would say it's whining. I'm like, it's not. You get songs like for instance, like Go On, one of your songs. It's got this emo tinge to it, but it's just because it makes you feel something. And I think that's
I appreciate the deep cut there.
Yeah, like I think that's what it really is, and I think that's why people were afraid of the word emo, because it makes you feel something and you're not sure if you're supposed to feel something or not listening to it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I relate to the emotive aspect, but not the like emo TM, like I'm supposed to be yelling at you kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, Death Cab was considered emo. Like
right.
But then you have bands who are screaming at the top of their lungs that are considered emo. It's like, well, so what is it and what isn't it? And there was never really an answer. It was just like this vague umbrella that everybody was falling under for a very, for like a good 10 years. And then all of a sudden it fell out of favor and they're like, it's just a fucking emo band. It's like, no, did you actually fucking listen to it? So
yeah. We'll call ourselves emo-ish.
Yeah. And that's fine. That's what I think someone asked me. And I was like, they're indie rock, but they have an emo-ish tinge, but what did I, so when you guys played, so I was standing there. I don't know if you saw, tall guy, long beard, short hair that was standing next to me, and we were just looking at each other. I was like, man, these guys are fucking amazing. And I was like, it's almost like a post rock pop punk kind of. I'm like, I don't even know how to fucking describe it. And he's like, I was like, no, I know what it is. I was like, it's an new wave post punk emo. And he's like, yeah, I think I can. He's like, I think that's it. I'm like, right? I'm like, because it, and what I loved about it was like, we came up with 3 different fucking styles of music to just be like, because we couldn't even put it to ourselves. And so that question was more so for me to find out what the fuck you guys are.
Okay, wait, I'm writing this down. So new wave, post-punk,
emo.
All right, I'll run that by the guys, see what we think. Cool. Yeah.
But you made me think, and and I think that's one of the best parts about music is you actually like made me think about like I don't know how to categorize what's happening right now, and I think that's what's special, and I think that's why it was an unequivocal yes as soon as you reached out to me to come play again, because I was taken aback. I'd never seen you guys perform, and I was just like, what the fuck was that? Like, that was amazing. Like, and standing there with my my really good music friends, and him and I just being like, what the fuck? We couldn't put our finger on it.
That's awesome to hear. Thank you. Well, so what happened is, if you took me in isolation, you'd have something very Death Cabby, very Elliott Smith kind of vibe. If you took the rest of the band in isolation, you'd have progressive metal or some kind of like hardcore adjacent. And so combined, I'm basically pulling on them to mellow out, and they're pulling on me to be more edgy. So we kind of meet somewhere in the middle. And as we keep writing more music, I feel like it's becoming more and more of this new, seamless feeling. So we'll see how it continues to develop.
Nice. If you guys should come out on July 18th. We have like a progressive metal band playing at the store. So,
oh yeah, who's that?
100,000.
Okay, is that where are they from?
New Jersey.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, really, it's basically like 5 of the most amazing musicians all in one band creating like
sounds
this,
good.
Yeah, like creating this crazy, like their last album was called Zodiac, and it was every song was a sign from the Zodiac, and they were all like progressive rock and progressive metal. It's like 9-minute songs, but they just fucking wail, kind of like that huge build up and that fucking crazy breakdown to coming back down at the end of the song. It's just insane.
Hell yeah.
So here's a question. Getting your driver's license is a huge deal. And for me, I kind of remember when I got it and I went to pick up my first friend. And I mean, it's different now because probably when you got your license, you were streaming music, but I had a CD player at the time. And I remember what I was listening to when I went to pick up that friend. Do you remember what you were listening to when you got your license and went to go on your first drive?
No idea. Can we spin that into like favorite road trip song?
Okay, sure.
Or is there another feeling that you're trying to get from that question? Because I have no idea.
It's usually that song to freedom, right? It's
okay.
That's why I kind of remember like it was the first time I was like free to go. Okay, now I can go do what I want.
Well, it's got to be Transatlanticism by Death Cab for Cutie. That song just fills me with this sense of euphoria for some reason. It's kind of a sad album, but
isn't all of Death Cab pretty sad?
It's like when I first started writing music with Anthony, he kept saying stuff like, "Stop writing such sad. Like, why is all your music so sad?" I'm like, I don't think of it as sad. I think of it as beautiful. Like, what I find beautiful in music is often the minor chords and the chords that build up suspense and a feeling of longing and things like that. And that's definitely what I get from transatlanticism. So.
All right. Yeah, a lot different. Mine was a cover of Here Comes the Sun by Screeching Weasel. So
Oh, nice.
I remember because I think it was one of like 4 CDs I owned, and I just
I
grabbed it.
see.
And I was like, this is nice. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
mine was probably some like random Eminem song.
speaking of sad, do you remember the last song you cried to?
Oh, well,
And it's okay to share your emotions here.
Oh, I can't remember. I mean, I cry to songs in shows all the time, but that's not really fair because it's accompanied by like a story. Um, for my grandfather on my mom's side, the one who used to play guitar, for his funeral, I learned his favorite hymn on piano, and I played that song at his funeral. And yeah, cried a lot for that one.
Yeah. See, isn't it good to feel something and share your emotions with the world right now?
Yeah, for sure. That's why I do music.
Now, there's another emotional time in everyone's life who has ever performed, and that's your first ever performance in front of strangers. Do you remember where, when, and how you felt?
Uh, there's multiple answers to that.
And this is like not in church, like where you've gone. Like this is like your first time in front of strangers. Yeah, there's going to be some friends there because they're there to support you. But like the first time, like you're doing something in front of people that the majority you don't know.
Yeah, because I had a few performances when I was really young that I don't feel like they really answer that question because I didn't have that nervous feeling. Um, I think the best answer to that would be at my high school talent show. Not the high school I teach at, but my own high school that I went to. Um, I was on track and field, and our coach like never let us do anything because we were always running and practicing, and so we missed all the after school activities. But there was this one time when we had a talent show that fell on a day that I was free, and I joined, and I was so freaking scared. And that's the first time I think that I sang and performed one of my original pieces for my classmates. And yeah, it just the shaking of my arms and the shaking of my voice, like that took years and years to overcome before I started finally being able to perform to my best without all that shaking.
Well, sometimes that nervousness too is, a good thing to work out on stage, right?
Hmm.
It's having that anxiety, but there's a difference between bad anxiety and good anxiety. So, kind of sometimes figuring it out as you go along is really good too.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever really had bad anxiety when it comes to performing. I've always felt that nervous energy as like a good thing. But the difference is like at the early stages, the nervous energy was so great that it inhibited my performance because my like I just couldn't pluck the strings because my hands were not moving the way I needed them to. And so that's taken some time to just work through for sure.
All right. Well, we're gonna stay on the track with kind of that, and
Okay.
I'm gonna we'll get a little better after it. But the first one, it'll be a two-parter. Is there has to be a performance in your life that things just went wrong, and it kind of occupies this little cortex in the back corner of your mind and sometimes pops up when you least want it to. But was there a live performance of yours that you will just never forget because of everything that bad that may have happened?
Oh my God. Yes, I know this one. I wish Anthony was here. But when we first started playing, this was after Guiltless Papaya had kind of disbanded, and we were. I hit him up again after about a year hiatus, and I had learned how to play guitar at a basic level, and so we started doing these duo shows, and we played coffee houses and open mics, and one time we got this gig at Stanhope House
Wow.
in North Jersey, and we were super excited because there was like a venue that we had seen other bands play, and we were like, "Oh my God, an actual venue!" we go to this show.
Shortest ceilings in the world, but yeah.
And we're on the main stage, and it's super awesome. And we're opening for like some pop punk band called, I think, Joyride is what they were called. But we go up. He's on the full set. I'm on acoustic, and we play our set, and it feels really good. But we then play "The Scientist" by Coldplay. And this was at a phase in my life when I was still developing my falsetto skills. And in The Scientist, where he's like, oh damn! Now that I'm on the spot, I'm gonna blank on how The Scientist goes.
Should have been like Willie Nelson and not gotten falsetto with it.
Fuck. It's nobody said it was easy. Something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So you're constantly switching between that falsetto and head voice, and you can tell that I'm still straining even 10 years later. But in the moment, my voice cracks and I drop to chest voice. It's like, ah! It sounded like that. And I just, the amazing performer that I am, I just roll with it. But rather than correcting on the second chorus, I'm like, okay, I'm sure I've got it this time. And so we enter the second chorus, same shit happens. And after the show, Anthony was like, why would you try it again? And we have that on video. So
that's a great friend too.
Yeah, I'm glad that we have that for posterity.
Forever. Yeah. Forever.
And now we have it replicated on this podcast as well. So everyone's ears can bleed freshly.
It's perfect. That's what it's all about. Now let's get happier. And is a performance that went so well, or an experience performing that was just transcendental, that just like you were just like, holy shit, that was, who knows if it ever gets better than that?
Yes. It was 2019, right before COVID. That would have been my senior year of college. And every year Rutgers puts on this concert called Beats on the Banks. And they bring in these huge international acts. And they pick a college band to open up the show. And this year, 2019, it was Young the Giant, which is Anthony's favorite band. And he just emails the organizers of this event. He's like, hey, you guys need an opener? And they're like, sure. And so we opened for Young the Giant. And there were like 400 people there. It was the whole stadium, like the whole College Avenue gym, just full. And we got to play a 40-minute set of our original music.
Wow. Did you have 40 minutes at that time of?
We did. Yeah, we were like into recording our second album at that point.
So Waves of Change had already come out and you were working
towards like a couple months earlier.
Okay.
And that was amazing. And no, we have not played a show like that since. That's still on the horizon.
Yeah. Hey, if you keep performing like how I saw you perform, there will be many more to come like that. So,
well, thank you.
See, I told you it would get better. We went from bad to great. Now, you talked about two bands over and over again, Coldplay and U2, and then Death Cab.
Yes.
And so this question has probably already been answered throughout this, but sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. Is there an artist or band in your life that you constantly turn to when you need something? Like it's a band that never lets you down, that when you don't know what you want to listen to, you're always going to listen to this band. Like I have two. Some people, I always say Rolling Stone calls it your favorite band. I don't. I call it, bands that never let you down, because your favorite bands can let you down. But
yes. U2 has kind of phased out for me at this point. Like that's the band that my dad and I bond over. But in terms of my personal listening at this point, they don't really hold the same, have the same hold over me that they used to. For jamming in the car, especially practicing vocals, that's got to be Coldplay. I blast a Rush of Blood to the Head like every week when I drive to practice to warm up my voice. I probably listened to that album like 100 times, maybe more, probably more, probably like 200. Death Cab for just any time I'm trying to be in my feelings, and just kind of zone out, like being on the train or on the plane.
Or the goat on a
Transatlanticism.
boat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, transatlanticism. And then Microwave is probably my new favorite car ride band.
They're fucking great.
Much Love by Microwave.
Very.
Oh, and their heavier album, Death is a Warm Blanket.
Mhm.
It's a great gym album.
Nice. Now, how about, what do you listen to that people would get okay, how I phrase this? I'm just gonna say your guilty pleasure that you're just, if someone caught you listening to it, and I always say I don't care how old you are, as I'll call music sometimes they're just pleasures, but there is that 1 second that someone catches you listening to something that they don't think they'd ever catch you listening to, but you love it so much. What is that for you?
Well, I mean, U2 kind of was that band, because you remember when they made a deal with Apple to put
And they forced their album onto everyone. Yeah.
And then all my friends started shaming me for liking U2. They were like, "Fuck this band. Who likes this band?" And I was like, "Me." And ever since then, I feel like whenever I bring up U2, people are like, "Really?" And I'm hard pressed to find someone who's like loud and proud about U2.
Listen, I get it. I've never really been a U2 fan. I give them tons of credit. I think they had some amazing songs. But I was never that person. I don't think I own a U2 album, and I own thousands upon thousands of albums and CDs and cassettes, and I don't think U2's in my collection, which is probably crazy. But I I always understand. It's the same thing with like the Beatles for me. Like I don't own a Beatles record like of my own. Yes, they're in the store, but I don't, in my personal collection, I don't own a Beatles album.
Mhm.
Which people are like, "Are you kidding?" I was like, "Yeah." Like I I give people tons of credit for what they've done. I completely understand how they reshaped music, but there's enough fans out there that I don't have to be a fan of them.
Yeah.
You know?
Same here, actually. We were never a Beatles household.
Yeah, we were more of, because my mom was like doo-wop and soul. My dad was like folk and like more of the Bob Seger-ish type of rock and rolls. And we were like a Stones household. Like it was the Rolling Stones, because you got all of that into one band. So
Oh, you know who else? John Mayer. I fuck with John Mayer musically.
I get it. He's fucking amazing. And yeah, I mean, if I did, people would probably judge me if they caught me listening like John Mayer's first EP, like really loud and proud in the store. If someone walked in, like I got caught. Like here's my thing: I got caught. My guilty pleasure is Jamiroquai. You wouldn't picture a guy who wears black jeans, black shirts, and covered in tattoos with a backwards hat to fucking be rocking out the Jamiroquai, but I do all the time, and that's
awesome.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And I got caught, and people started making fun of me. I'm like, dude, listen to it. It's fucking great. You can't listen to it and not be happy listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah, just like I don't play John Mayer when my girlfriend's in the car. I'll keep that to myself.
All right. We got 2 more questions before we roll into our weekly 3 segment. These are kind of downer questions, so prepare yourself. World's going to end in 5 minutes. Meteors crashing into the earth, and you have to listen to one song and one song only. What song are you listening to?
I'd actually listen to our SoundCloud of the demos that we're working on.
Oh, that's a first. Your own music. 200 and some odd episodes. First person.
Oh, really?
Their own stuff.
No.
Yeah. Wow.
Now I look
you
like...
do think you're the fucking shit.
I mean,
it's an honest answer because it's the first thing that came to your head. So we'll move on to the next one. I'm pulling you out of that.
I mean, I'm proud of my work.
Yeah.
I like the way it sounds.
Awesome. All right. Everyone gets out of your house safely. Your house is on fire. Not a chance to save a lot of stuff. All living things are out. You have a minute to run back in and one piece of music related objects, whether it's memorabilia or instruments. What's the one thing you're grabbing in that hand?
Oh, that hurts. I mean, boring, but laptop, because it's got
Got all your
literally
stuff.
everything
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to think objectively here.
Yeah, no,
Laptop.
that's fine. Someone else said that. There's been
Yeah.
guitars, there's been records. I just like to find out where the importance lies. And
I don't have like a $10,000 guitar, so.
awesome. Well, before we move into our weekly 3 segment, this is your opportunity. I open it up to you to tell everybody how to find all it is that Sonoa is doing, how to keep up with you guys, how to find all your stuff, how to support the band and purchasing some materials as well. Like I did, I bought a shirt. Tell people all the time, the only way to help bands continue to make music is to actually buy the merchandise from them, so they can continue to make music and do tours on a budget, as Gabe said, which is impossible, but it helps get to the next town. It helps get a drink, get water, get gas. So, why don't you tell everybody right now how it is to find out what you guys are doing, like all your handles and all that cool stuff?
Yeah, so the easiest thing is sonoaband.com. That's where all of our social media links are, our music links, updates, things like that. We post most of our tour flyers and like show updates on Instagram, but we're also trying to build a mailing list so that we can contact people without having to use social media. But yeah, it's really sonoaband.com. That's where you got to go. We got our merch store there, so buying merch really helps. But really just come to our shows, say hi. Nothing matters more to us than seeing people at our shows, getting to know new people, and feeling like we're, reaching new people. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are in our weekly 3s segment. This is 3 things that you're listening to right now that you'd like other people to check out. You will give your 3 things you're listening to first, and then I will give my 3.
Okay, I need a minute to think about that.
You don't have your most recent Apple or Spotify or what you've listened to that you've been diving into?
Yeah, but I want to like ideally call out like bands that need attention rather than just some like big artist. Wax a Million I've been really into. Wax a Million is like their Spotify bio is like Polyphia at home. You know that meme where it's like, no, don't get pizza at the restaurant. We've got pizza at home, and you get home and there's pizza at home, and it's just this like shitty like dollar store box. Their Spotify bio is Polyphia at home, but I feel like they're right up there with Polyphia. I love Wax a Million. Been really digging their music. Quality Living, who we're playing with on the 15th. We love them. And recently just got back to listening to Kovatova, which is a band that started right around the time that we started in New Brunswick. Kovatova. Great kind of indie. I don't want to use the word indie now. Would she call it indie folk or something like that? But it's more than that. It's great. Yeah, those are my 3: Wax a Million, Quality Living, Kovatova.
Awesome. All right, my 3 for this week. My first one is a band called Psychonaut. The name of the album is Violate Conscious Reality. They are a psychedelic post-metal band from Belgium. Psychonaut.
Dope.
Next is a band called the Deadbolts. Beaumont is the name of the album, and they're rock and roll from Chicago. Really good. The Deadbolts. And last but not least is a band called Makeout Reef, and that's Makeout one word. Makeout Reef. Name of the album is Star Power. Here it is, indie alt rock from LA. I hate having to come up with fucking labels, but there, it gives you kind of an idea of what they are. That means I have no fucking clue what they are, but they're just really good.
Awesome.
But those are my 3 for this week. Gabe, first and foremost is like a huge thank you for creating the music that brought us together. Not only the fact that you saved our ass for a show, but the fact that I fell in love with you at that moment. And without you being a musician and creating the music that I fell in love with, we wouldn't have something to talk about, right? So that's a huge, huge thank you, because it's really hard, even though you think you're the shit with your music. It's a full circle moment from the beginning of the show, people, if you're tired of listening to us, but it really is important what you do, and it's not lost on me. So thank you for creating the music that brought us together, because it's special, and I can't wait to see you guys do great things.
Well, thank you for everything, Shane. This has been an awesome episode, and like, you've made me think about things that I've genuinely never questioned before. So it's been really meaningful, and I'm glad to have had the opportunity to reflect on some of these things. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, and I look forward to seeing you again on August 15th at Hidden Tracks Records. The ticket link is up and running, so people rush out and get your tickets before we sell out. Don't miss your chance to see Sonoa live at Hidden Tracks on August 15th. And for that, everybody else in the world, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to Sonoa, and have a great fucking time.
Before you know, you forget it is there.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.